Welcome back. Today we're going to be reading Christian the Hugging Lion by Justin Richardson and Peter Parnell and illustrated by Amy June Bates. Many years ago, the most famous store in London made the world a promise. At Harrods, you could buy absolutely anything you wanted. Anything! What would you like? Chocolate tea? Silk pajamas? A coconut from Brazil? How about a racing car on a yacht with 5 white sails? Yes, sir, the clerk would say. I'll get that right away. Better yet, at Harrods, you could buy the most unusual pets. I'd like a camel if you don't mind. Certainly, madame. 1 hump or 2. One day, 2 young men came to see what Harrods had for sale. There, sitting in a cage beneath a honey blossom tree, was a little lion cub. He had come from the zoo. A store is no place for a lion to live, they said. Something must be done. And so Ace and John brought him and took him back to their apartment. We'll call him Christian, they said. Christian curled up between his new friends on their paisley sofa. He seemed very happy to have found a home. Christian liked to roll and play and chase his toys under the furniture. He spent hours peering through the window at the birds outside. And he loved to put his paws on Ace's and John's shoulders and do something that wild lions never do. He hugged them. Christian became a very well-behaved little cub. Most of the time. After all, he was still a lion. Ace and John took Christian with them everywhere they went. When they went for a stroll in the morning, they paraded him down the King's Road. They played with him in the churchyard. They ate lunch with him in their favorite restaurant where the chef served Christian in high style. And they even took Christian to the pub. Christian was very friendly to everyone he met, although sometimes his hugs were a little clumsy. Christian loved to take in the sights of London from the back seat of Ace and John's car. He loved to picnic at the beach on the English Channel and feel the sun on his back, although the water was disagreeably cold. Most of all, Christian loved being with Ace and John. The 3 of them had become the most unusual family in all of London. After a year of Christian's eating and playing and growing, it wasn't quite as comfortable for Ace and John to snuggle with him on their paisley sofa. Should they get a bigger sofa or move to a bigger apartment? Would they have to bring Christian to the zoo? No, Ace and John decided. Lions belong in the wild. Christian was happy in London, but Ace and John knew he'd be happier in Africa, so they made a plan to fly there. Christian would have to travel inside a wooden crate. He didn't seem to like the idea. Ace and John climbed in to show him how comfortable it would be. It's so lovely in here. Reluctantly, Christian agreed, and every day he practiced spending a little more time in the crate. It was going to be a very long trip. Finally, the day came to fly. When the 3 of them arrived in Kenya, a crowd gathered. Everyone was surprised to see a lion who could ride in a plane. A lion from London? Ace and John drove Christian to meet Mr. Adamson, who taught lions how to live in the wild. They were worried. How will Christian manage without the churchyard to play in or the chef to fix his lunch? Leave him to me, Mr. Adamson said with a smile. And so they did. Christian looked around. The sky was wider than he had ever seen, even over Hyde Park. There were many more birds than outside his favorite window, and in the distance he saw gazelles grazing. They made his nose twitch and his hind legs feel springy. Should he run after them? Was that allowed in Africa? A breeze tickled Christian's fur. The air was dry and smelled of honey blossoms. It filled his chest and stirred a feeling that rattled up to his mouth and came out as a strange new sound. Back in London, Ace and John missed Christian's hugs. They drove in their car and went on picnics and ate at their favorite restaurant, but it wasn't the same without him. Finally, they called Mr. Adamson. "How is Christian?" they asked. "Very well indeed. He's gone off into the wilds." "Could they visit him?" "We could try to find him, but he may not remember you. Christian is a grown-up lion now, with cubs of his own." "Let's go," they said. When they arrived in Kenya, what did they see? Their old friend took a long look at them, and then they were together again. Christian and Ace and John played all day until the evening sun began to slip behind the trees. Then they settled down for a quiet night's sleep under the Kenyan stars. Ace and John knew that in the morning Christian would go back to his new lion family, but for that night the three of them curled up together just like they used to, cozy and snug and, of course, hugging. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story time. Make sure to come back next Saturday for another story. Bye!